It was springtime, 10 years ago, when I first became a candidate for city council. I was so excited. My signatures were all in. I had signed the paperwork. It was official. My friend, Steve Russell, had enthusiastically volunteered to help, and we were sitting at my big wooden kitchen table strategizing on how we were going to run the campaign when the phone rang. "Hi, baby," says my dad. It was my dad. "Dad, guess what? I'm officially running for Boulder City Council." "That's great, baby," he says. "I'm so proud of you." My dad was a retired teacher who believed in public service and democracy more than anyone I know. And I could hear it. I could hear the pride in his voice. But I could hear something else, too. So my hand gripped the phone, and my stomach clenched around the fear of what his answer would be, but I had to know, so I asked him, "Are you okay, Dad?" I don't remember the words. I just remember how they came crushing down on my heart. I remember the dread burying the excitement of a moment before. They fell like bricks. The cancer is back. There's nothing more they can do. Come say goodbye. My dad knew how he wanted to spend the time he had left, and he knew how he wanted to die, surrounded by the sounds of his grandchildren playing and his children together. So when it was time to bring in hospice, we all came and descended on that little house in California and filled it with life. My two siblings, my brother and my sister and I, came there, and we had the strangest time. It was bizarre. It's hard to even describe what a strange time it was. My dad didn't want me to quit running, so I'd left the campaign in the good hands of my team in Boulder and gone out to California. So the house was full of laughter and tears and music and syringes. And it was these three families crushed together in the house. The bizarro world of all of this really came crashing together in one particular incident. You know, for part of the time I was there with the laughter and the tears and the syringes, and that was intense. And then part of the time I was in this little back bedroom, the only quiet nook in the house, frantically working remotely on my campaign. And then I got an email from Channel 8, Boulder's public TV station, and they said, "Well, we're doing 3-minute spots on all the candidates. Can you come into the studio in Boulder?" And I explained that I really couldn't, but perhaps we could work something out. So the station manager gave me the specs and said we could go ahead and upload our own video on this new website called YouTube. So we had a small window of time between when all the grandkids were in bed and when my sister had to shoot my dad's med into the IV. So I borrowed a blouse from my stepmom, and we jerry-rigged a studio in the living room. My brother propped the actual home video camera, because there were no iPhones, on top of this long, thin box that he'd found. And my sister stood next to him and carefully changed the cue cards, trying not to rustle. And we took one of those bendy lamps with the 6 arms, and we shone the light on me, and I gave my 3-minute stump speech on camera while my father was dying in the next room. It was terrible and bizarre. And afterward, the three of us crushed together on the couch, drinking wine coolers with the giddy gallows humor of it all. My dad was 64, and other than the cancer, he was really healthy and strong. The cancer stalked him like a pack of wolves. It took its time bringing him down. So finally, I had to make a decision. I could stay with him until the end, but I'd have to give up my race. So I sat down with my dad, and I held his hand, just bones and papery skin now. And I said, "Dad, what do you want?" And you know what he said? He said, "Run, baby." So I came home to Boulder, and I carried with me his love of democracy and public service, and I won a seat on city council. And now that I'm running again, this time for State House, I feel him with me every day, and I just know we're gonna crush it.